and welcome to Movies, Films, and Flicks. I am Mark Hoffmeyer, and joining me is a man that has spent a lot of time with Jason Voorhees recently. It's David Cross.
I would make some gag, but Jason's silent, so I was like stuck. I was like, whoa, what would Jason say?
Whoa, you're right behind me right now.
Oh, hey, how you doing?
I'm right behind you, Mark.
He does say something. He has one line in the franchise. I just can't remember it.
Deep Blue
it's in
Sea
Jason Goes to Hell
is the greatest movie ever. That's what he says.
Yes, exactly. He's like, why do you hate Deep Blue Sea? And then he machetes someone. Exactly. That's how did you remember that?
It just stuck with me. It felt odd at the time, but it's memorable for sure. So David is a co-host, and he runs a site of the Award Wieners movie review podcast. And David and I, if you've been listening to Movies, Films, and Flicks for a long time, we met in college, we met in grad school. We both love to research and analyze data a lot, many spreadsheets. So he and I took on this, months ago, we planned on figuring out which Friday the 13th movie is the most Friday the 13th. So you had the first 6, I had the second 6 for the 12 films total, and we dove into the Friday the 13th franchise that started in 1980. And we have a winner.
Yeah, we do. Before we announce it, I can tell you that I have never spent more time with Jason than this.
Yeah.
And I'd seen 11 of the 12 movies, and then the 12th one I had seen some of it. This is my first time really taking a deep dive into those first 6 films.
And what's wild is I was always a Halloween guy. I've never liked Freddy. I enjoy some of the aspects of the Freddy movies, mainly the characters that he interacts with. But after watching this franchise, I'm on board with the Friday the 13th and Jason Voorhees franchise. Yeah, it's my favorite.
I was a Freddy fan, and now I think I'm a Jason fan. I have really come around on it. I think this franchise is a lot more clever than people give it credit for, but it's also a little more subtle. Freddy is in your face. But this one's it's more about the direction is creative than maybe the story.
Yeah, no. I mean, it's and you know what's interesting? You told me about 3 being a lot better than what you remembered, and then you have to give it a reappraisal. And then I started watching. I watched some of yours for this. I watched some of mine, and I just they're cheap little movies, and some of them are very gratuitous, but there's a thorough storyline for the most part. There's no multiple timelines like there is Halloween and Disowning movies and yada yada yada. Jason isn't in all the movies. He's only in 10 of the 12. But still, it's just the spirit, I think, has remained intact throughout for the last 40 years? 40 years. 1980.
Yeah. I would say that there are potentially multiple timelines. I think Jason Goes to Hell discontinues everything other than the second one. The first, second is But you're right. It's more or less cohesive. There are a lot of inconsistencies from movie to movie, but you can understand what is going on, unlike the Halloween franchise.
So we kind of came up with 17 categories, right? So
18.
And I earlier in the year I did the Fast and Furious, which one was most, that did really well, and we just thought it would be fun to tackle this franchise. And so do you mind if I read them out real quick? The dimensions that we had? So we had theme music, killer point of view, total killer deaths, personality moments, adult content, which is, sex scenes, drugs, all that gratuitous stuff that goes with every single one of these movies. Woods chases, broken barriers, an instance of doors, walls. Then we have glass breaking. Jason and Pamela, they all love breaking glass. Mentions of Camp Blood, name survivors. Then we have, is the Friday the 13th in the title? Is he resurrected? Is it a birthday boy? Does it take place on Friday the 13th? Is it near Crystal Lake? Does he wear a hockey mask? Is there a machete? And is he the killer? And we also did a subjective one where we did killer punishment. So we jotted down every instance of killer punishment, and we ranked it according to what we think, which movie had the most punishment. And then you, David, you set up do you want to talk about the methodology for this thing?
Yeah, the methodology on this was wild. So essentially what we ended up doing is that we ranked every criteria from 1 to 12 and then summed that and divided by 18 to get a nice simple number. But we tried multiple different variations of the methodology to figure out how to do this, and that's just the one that was the simplest and worked best. And to be frank, we tried it multiple different ways to maybe make it slightly more accurate, particularly normalizing the data, and the list just kept coming up the same. So we were just like, let's just write it the simplest way possible because it doesn't really matter.
And to a certain point, and you can read this article at awardwieners.com. I'll have a quick link to it on Movies, Films, and Flicks, but the main data is at Award Wieners. And so we'll include the link with this podcast, and I'll put it in the body here. But I think what you did was smart. I mean, we have the winner essentially up front, quick intro, and then we have the data at the end. So, but I also don't think I think if people are looking to get into the data, there's enough here for them to really appreciate it, right? And then if they don't care about the data, it's a really easy read.
Yeah. So why don't we just tell everyone what the most Friday the 13th movie is?
Okay.
Do you want to do the honors, Mark?
Yeah. Do you mind? I guess since it was since I had to do the research on this movie, and it is Friday the 13th, Part 7, The New Blood, which is kind of controversial, and I think that makes me happy, because if Jason Lived won, or if the first one won, it just seems too easy. So I'm really happy that The New Blood won, because I think what it does is it has essentially every single trope of the Friday the 13th franchise. Many of them. So, I guess what we established in the first one is Pamela Voorhees. There's woods chases. There's gratuitousness. She hides under beds to jam arrows through people's throats. She's a very cheeky killer. And then this one, I mean, a lot of people aren't that big of a fan of it, but I do like how, the sleeping bag kill, I guess there's a weird cheekiness. He's wedging people into trees. But then you also get the telekinesis from Tina, which, if you look at what Jason Goes to Hell, Jason X, and there's a few other Jason movies that kind of bring supernatural elements into it, Freddy vs. Jason, so it has that aspect to it. It's this weird blending of everything. And I think that's really why it rose to the top.
Yeah, what I was thinking about when we discovered this, because honestly, I didn't think it was going to be this one. I thought it was going to be the third one, which happens to be my favorite, by the way. But what I thought was that this movie sort of sits in the middle between when Jason is alive, quote unquote, and when he's a revenant or a zombie or whatever he is. And so it does incorporate both iterations of the franchise really well together. And I think some of the areas that it did really well in was, again, you mentioned this instance of music. Like, the music is nonstop in this film. There's at least 3 wood chases, which is a lot for a Jason film. And then there's also 2 main survivors, which seems to be sort of a theme throughout these films. Like, you usually think of a slasher and there's only one survivor, but there are multiple survivors in a Jason film.
Yeah. You started with the 2 final girls in the first 2, and then they started branching out from there to kind of having duos.
Yeah. And even in the second one, you're not quite sure. I think it's Paul. Paul may or may not live. I know that he was scripted to die, but you don't see it on screen, so you can't count it. It's a questionable kill. But I guess what it really does well is that it has all those moments. Like, again, he jumps through walls. He has a hockey mask. Jason's the killer. He comes back from the dead. He takes an insane amount of punishment. He really does. In our list, it's the 4th most punishment film. I think he takes more punishment in Jason X, Freddy vs. Jason, and there's another one I believe he takes even more punishment.
Yeah, the final Friday, because he gets killed Freddy Goes to Hell, or like Jason Goes to Hell, because he gets blown up in the beginning, and then he gets stabbed with the mythical dagger and dies again. So he dies twice in a movie.
Yeah. But yeah, I was really shocked about this film. Of the 12, this is one of the ones that I knew the least, actually. So the 2 films that I hadn't seen, the 2 films that I hadn't seen a lot was this one, and then the one with Roy. I had no memory of that. So I was excited that I got to rewatch all these and experience it again.
One of the most fun things I had was just giving examples for why this movie is the most Friday the 13th film. And then you have the classic skinny dipping kill, where Jason kills a guy, and then a lady's underwater. And so I analyzed this for my film theory video about Jason teleporting, and it didn't make the cut because of kind of the body material, but this lady goes underwater. She sees her boyfriend dead. Then Jason pops up right next to her. And I kind of did the math where he just silently dives into the water, like just a very smooth diver, and then pops up right next to her, creature from the Black Lagoon POV on her, and then pops up in a very deep water after she's only gone about, 7 seconds, and then he drowns her. So you have another drowning in a movie, another water kill in a movie full of water kills. So it's just, I'm happy this one won, right? Okay, I have a question. If Jason Lives won, would that have felt too, we didn't manipulate any of this, by the way. Now, do you think it would have been too obvious, since it's probably it's the second highest rated film and fans kind of love the cheekiness of it?
That's a great question. So I wouldn't have been upset with it, but it does feel like it would have been expected. But I frankly don't think that movie is as representative of the franchise as a lot of other people think it is. Then again, I mean, it is number 2 on our list, and so I can't argue with my own math. But when I think of Friday the 13th movies, I don't think of that film. I think of the first 4. Those are the ones that really stick out in my head. But then again, I guess that's the best thing about this franchise. Like you can go with Living Jason, or you can go with Zombie Jason, and they're sort of different, but they're all the same.
And what I kind of love too is that there's a period in this film where Jason goes unmasked at the end. I mean, he gets nails in his head and he's barfing up stuff, and he gets electrocuted and he gets lit on fire and he gets a patio dropped on him, and then zombie dad drops in and drags him into the water. But I sort of love the unmasking, because it reminds me of 2 and 3 to a certain extent, where he's wearing the bag over his head, and before he has the mask that he gets in 3. So it brings back a little bit of seeing his face more, which I like, and I think feels like representative of the early films. And so just once again, he has a mask on, he doesn't have his mask on. He uses a machete, but he also uses the weirdest weed whacker I've ever seen in my life to kill the doctor. It's just, there's a lot of woods going on. It's near Crystal Lake. Jason X we love, but it goes to space. We love Jason Goes to Manhattan. It's on a massive tanker. How did they get that tanker for a quick trip? It seems like driving would be easier. But yeah, they go to Manhattan. Just for me, this one, it's on Crystal Lake. It features drownings, it features creative kills, it features elements of teleporting, a beautiful glass-breaking moment of Jason exploding like a defensive lineman through a glass-paned wall, just a beautiful window. He's exploding through walls. I mean, Jason takes so much punishment in these movies. He's getting whapped around, taking punishment. And I mean, there's a lot of gratuitous stuff in this too, man.
Oh yeah, like the skinny dipping scene. I was like, I'm surprised this is in here.
Yeah, there's some I think Goes to Hell and the remake probably have the most graphic moments, I would say, just of the franchise, like the tent scene and then everything in the remake. I mean, Michael Bay walked out of the remake, reboot, sequel, whatever it is, because he said there was too much nudity and violence. When Michael Bay walks out of something saying that, the movie is pretty insane. But
what I wanted to comment on before I forget, when he jumps through the window, what is brilliant about that scene is that in the other movies, he would have tossed a body through it to scare the people inside. And so you had kind of expected that. When I was watching this film, I expected a body come flying through that window because they panned on it. And then when Jason came through it instead, I was like, oh, this is a whole different movie.
Yeah, I mean, he just blasts through that thing. I love the visual too. It's a cool visual. Just watch him explode through that. And then also, I think one neat part about the franchise, so in the second film, the lady's a psychology student, and she uses psychology on Jason to beat him. She's resourceful, right? And you have these occasional heroines in these films who are quite resourceful, I think, and that's taken to a whole new level with Tina, who is using telekinesis to fight Jason. It's bonkers. It's insane. Yeah. But you know what though? I mean, he's gone to hell. He's gone to Manhattan. He's gone to space. So it's not absurd, actually. It's kind of normal in zombie Jason lore, I think, how bonkers this movie gets. Yeah.
And so I wanted to talk about two things before we signed off. The first is that this list is not a list of quality films. And what I mean by that is we didn't rank these by preference. We're not saying that New Blood is better than any other film. I want to make that very, very, very clear. And in fact, my favorite film, and I think your favorite film, weren't even in top 3 of this list.
No, we did not. We did not make it. I mean, do you want to read off the rankings 1 through 12?
Yeah, let's do that. So number 1 is The New Blood. Number 2 is Jason Lives. Number 3 is The Final Chapter. Number 4 is Part 3. Number 5 is Part 2. We have a tie at 6 with Jason Goes to Hell and the reboot. Number 8 is Freddy vs. Jason. Number 9 is Part 7, Jason Takes Manhattan. Number 10 is A New Beginning. Number 11 is the original, and number 12 is Jason X. This is a good opportunity, Mark, just to mention why the original is so low on our list. So from my understanding, essentially it places in the bottom tier or at the bottom for a number of categories. And what people have to realize is that Jason wasn't the main killer in the first movie. So it gets dinged because there's no hockey mask. Jason, I will say that movie probably does pretty well in terms of mentions of Camp Blood and the title. Mm-hmm. But it is a bit like, how do I put this? It's like a rough sketch, right? It sets the tone for the rest of the series, but it doesn't perfect the formula.
I mean, think about the first Fast and Furious. I mean, they were stealing DVDs and they got beat up by a truck driver. Think of the first Mission Impossible, how it was like a spy thriller, noir, moody Brian De Palma piece. And look where the franchise has gone. So yes, I mean, I think Fast and Furious, Friday the 13th, Mission Impossible, they lay the groundwork for where the franchise is going to go. But as the franchise evolves, you can't just say the first one is the most. You have to say what the entire franchise has become. So I think Friday the 13th set a great template, but that first film compared to Jason X or the remake, I mean, they're completely different. And we took the entire franchise into account. So for people who are saying, hey, Friday the 13th should be the most, we get it. We understand it. But it also, it doesn't feature an immortal Jason getting flapped around by a concrete mixer. It doesn't feature tremendous amounts of like insane gore. I mean, it was made for next to nothing. So I know it's ranked low on our list, but I think it's that and Jason X are my favorite of the franchise. So once again, it's low on the list, but it's not low in our hearts, if that makes sense.
Yeah, that's a really good point. Yeah, I got lucky because number 3 came in number 4 on this list, and that is the one that I really, really love. And as a side note, what I love about that film is that if you watch the first 2 and then you watch the third one, you realize that the camera is literally screwing with the audience the entire time. It's like they know what to expect, what you think you're going to see. And so all of these moments of killer POV trick the audience into thinking characters are going to die, and they don't actually die. So you're sort of on the edge of your seat just waiting for it.
I love Steve Miner. I mean, he's responsible for Halloween H2O, the director. He also did Lake Placid. He's done some good movies. So I dig his work. I think he did a good. I mean, 2 is insane. 2 is
yeah.
But yeah, and I need 3. You really got to give a reappraisal. And I think if anything, just doing this again, I've just learned I love this franchise. It's scrappy. It's weird. People are just throwing stuff at walls. But I hate the meanness of Freddy. I've been so. What I think the characters in Nightmare on Elm Street are stronger. If you watch Dream Warriors, I don't think any of the characters in the Friday the 13th franchise can match up with those characters, the ones from the first one. That's just my opinion. Maybe Brodsky from Jason X. I love him. But as far as a villain and it's just the weird plots and the places they go, I'm Friday the 13th all day. So I'm really glad we did this. And I know this is a short episode, but I think we picked the right winner. We have a lot. We didn't know who was going to win. We had no agenda going into this. We just said, these are the staples of it. Let's count it and let's see what happens. And I think our winner happened very organically, and I feel good about it.
Was there anything you think we should have added to this list? So we have this list of 18 criteria, but was there anything that you think we either should have added or we were surprised at when we were going through it?
No, because, I mean, we don't want to get to 30 categories. That's just oppressive. I think we nailed the essence of what makes this franchise. I think we nailed the essence with these 18 categories. I think we could have gone overkill if we went to 30. How many? I don't even know what else to add, to be honest. It's just, I think we captured what makes this franchise good. I'm happy with the 18. I don't think there's any looking back. And I think if we added a few more characters, the results, or categories, the results probably would be the same. There might be a mix up in the top 3 or top 2, but I don't see other movies jumping up and taking the number 1 spot. It's going to be either The New Blood or Jason Lives. I think going like, it's just, I mean, I guess we could have added moments where he kills more than one character at a time. So Jason X,
need to do that.
Yeah, exactly. Like, and Freddy goes to hell. No, I'm sorry. Freddy vs. Jason, he spears 2 kids at the same time. And Jason Lives, he triple decapitates people. But for me, it's, I don't know. We got the, we included teleporting moments when in regards to personality moments, and it's just, it's there. It's all there, I think.
Yeah. So the one area that I even had a hint that maybe we should do was a final girl ranking. But then I realized that the punishment ranking is essentially a ranking of how much the final girl screws up the main killer. So it's almost, equal. Or screws up the main killer.
I gotta go with, okay, I like Rowan LaFontaine from Jason X. 2 is, I forget her name from for the second one, where she uses the psychology to defeat Jason. I like her. But best final girl. But then there's always a final girl and the guy. Remember? Because in 4 or 5, it's Corey Feldman hacking him to death while his sister's actually a pretty badass in 5. She puts up a great fight. She dives out the window. Oh, I love that scene. But no, I'm going Roland LaFontaine from Jason X. She freezes him. Yeah. She survives. She knows what's up. She knows what he's capable of. Yeah, that's what I'm picking. Who's your favorite? Yeah. Do you have a favorite final girl?
The final girl from the 3rd movie. Again, that's my favorite. I think that movie is just incredibly underrated. Really, really underrated. And Jason just takes a freaking beating. He just keeps going and going and going, and it is great. And that final scene where he comes running out of the house, chasing after her, or running out of the barn, I should say, is very scary. It's fast Jason. You don't see that very often.
Yeah. You know what's interesting too is people talk about the lumbering Jason, and that's why I'm happy New Blood won again, because as I wrote in the film theory video, which you should go watch, go to YouTube, film theory, Jason teleporting. Like, Jason does lumber, and yes, people do trip in the woods, but he runs in the second one. He's fast in the third one. In Jason Lives, he climbs trees. In the 7th one, he explodes through windows. And Jason takes Manhattan. He moves quickly. In the reboot, he has underground caves and he runs. So this weird lumbering vision of him isn't quite correct. And I think New Blood blends that pretty well. You have the slow Jason, but then you have the exploding Jason. So it's another reason why I'm happy New Blood won. It blends both elements of what we think of Jason together.
I would say he's efficient.
Yeah.
He's just very efficient. He might not be as fast as you, but he's not going to screw up.
Yeah. I'm serious. I really think of him as an NFL defenseman, like NFL line, like a defensive tackle who's on the end, and they just make short bursts to just destroy the quarterback. Just that's what I see him as. It saves his energy and then just explodes. He's a big dude. So that's the kind of way I'd have him on my defensive line. Probably a game, then I'd lose my job and he'd get arrested and a lot of people would die. But no, you're right. He's very efficient, and you see that in New Blood. And I don't know. There's telekinesis in it. It's bonkers. I love it.
And he gets electrocuted, which is one of the best scenes it's crazy. It is crazy. It is a weird movie, and I do love that electrocution scene.
It's a shot well too. That scene. It looks good.
Yes.
A wide angle. They use the space well. He gets hit in the puddle. I mean, it's once again him having bad luck in water. Jason has bad luck in water. And so once again, he has bad luck in water. It's beautiful. And it works really well for me. And at the end, I'm happy, man. We did a lot of work. We stared at spreadsheets and, listened for, just a lot. And I don't know. It's very, this turned out well. I'm happy that this won. So I think we have a good result here, man.
Yeah, I do too. I don't have much else to say other than it was a great experience, and I look forward to figuring out which movie series we're going to do next.
Do me a favor, tell everybody where they can go find the article exactly.
Yeah, so the article is on awardwieners.com. It does not matter how you spell wieners because we have both the URLs. So just type in what you think it is. It'll redirect to the right website. And it is titled, Which Friday the 13th Movie Best Represents the Franchise? A Killer Study. So, i.e., this is the most Friday the 13th movie.
I love it. That makes me so happy. But, well, thank you for joining me, David. We're done. This isn't a chapter. This is another final Friday the 13th chapter done in our lives. So I'm glad we knocked this out.
Well, thanks for having me. I really, really enjoyed it.
All right, so for me, Mark Hoffmeyer, and for David Cross, this is Movies, Films, and Flicks. We'll see you next week.